Welcome to Fox Valley in Focus. I'm your host, Barb Nadeau. Today's show, we're going to focus on safety and what I think is one of the largest and probably the most extravagant events in our whole region. Our guests today include Cliff Olson. He's the president of Open Roads ABATE, and Larry Danowitz, president of the Sandwich Fair Association. We'll get started in just a second.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Larry Danowitz is our first guest today. Larry is the president of the Sandwich Fair Association, and I want to thank you for being with us on Fox Valley in Focus. It's great to have you here. Once again, it's always exciting when you come because that means it's almost time for the fair.
It's almost time for the fair already. It's hard to believe.
Am I correct in saying it's probably one of the largest events in the entire region?
I think so. Yeah, as far as attendance and, of course, we talk about entries all the time, and that's where people enter stuff. We're by far the largest county fair in the region for sure, in the Midwest that we know of.
People who've never gone to a county fair may not even realize the magnitude of your fair, but one of the things I think is interesting is the Sandwich Fair is one of the latest, and so you have winners from all these other fairs.
Including the state fair.
And actually winners from different neighboring states.
Fairs, right, in states, sure.
That come. So when we're talking about entries, you have two big things. You've got open show, junior show, but you also have livestock, and then you have general interest things.
All kinds. There's so many. Well, you have the book. It's huge.
Well, the book is huge. I thank you for giving this to me, and I want to talk a little bit about how to enter, but can you tell me how many people actually, or not, well, how many entries you actually get?
We do about anywhere from 25 to 35,000 entries every year.
35,000 entries.
We've had 35. Sometimes it's 25. The more the better. You know, we like entries, and entries can be anything. You know, it can be a cake. It can be a whatever category woodworking. There's all kinds of categories.
Everything from eggs to jams to bunnies to big steers
to ears of corn to lima beans to pumpkins, and it's neat. And of course that is an advantage we have because it is in September and it's usually the end of the growing season. Might be a little different this year, so.
It's usually the peak of the harvest,
it's
right?
The peak
it's
of the harvest,
beautiful,
yeah.
and all those entries are available. Like you said, we've had an interesting weather year, so
we've started with a little interesting weather, so we may be a little behind, but I'm sure the people that do it all the time are going to know how to get around Mother Nature on that one, I'm
Okay,
sure.
so that's just the aspect of the county fair. The county fair is more than just entries, though, because I know that you are just an amazing place for entertainment, but also for vendors. You have vendors coming with
We have vendors from all over the country. We have a lot of local vendors. Of course, all of the churches and service clubs have something out there to help their revenue and good for the community. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different aspects that go into it. The entertainment is a big thing too. Of course, we have our truck and tractor pulls, and on Friday night we have a national touring act, and we have free stages all over the place now. Every time I turn around, it seems like there's another stage and another band playing, and that's all free, so that's great. It's included with your admission.
So admission to the county fair gets you all of the exhibits, access to all those vendors, whether it's little bitsy widgets up to big tractors.
You can buy a tractor there. You can buy a combine there that costs $650,000 if you want. You get into farming, Barb.
I could. You know, I am always looking for a new adventure, but every time I go to the fair, there's a new adventure right around the corner. And as you said, you've got at least three stages, but it sounds like maybe even more than that
Well,
now.
it seems like we have a lot of ground acts, so what we call ground acts. We have a lumberjack show. Of course, there's things, there's an antique machinery inside the train tracks, Otto's Train. There's just, every time you turn a corner, there's something neat to look at, and the auto or the car show on Sunday and inside the racetrack. So there's a lot of activity, that's for sure.
The Sandwich Fair since 1888, one of the oldest.
One of the oldest continuous, and that's what we always have to rely on or say is the continuous. we're one of the only fairs in the country that didn't shut down during depressions and world wars.
Okay, and the recessions as well.
Recessions. And so, yeah, we've been continuous since 1888.
It's quite a
132
legacy.
years.
Quite a legacy. And I know it's just a labor of love for you and for everyone else on the Sandwich Fair Association, and really for everybody from ticket takers to parking attendants.
We have people that move away and beg, or not beg, they assure us that they are going to come back every year. And they may be a parking attendant, they may be a ticket taker or whatever. And they love to come back and work those 5 days. And if everything goes right and the weather's good, it's really not work. It's kind of fun.
It's awesome. It's wonderful. So with that legacy, I have to ask you, that's a lot of tradition. What's new?
What's new? This year, we've been talking about it for a long, long time. We built a new farm zoo, FFA Farm Zoo. So we're really proud of it. It looks like a barn. It's kind of a barn/pavilion, and it's a building that we can use year-round or seasonally in the off-season. The pens are going to be able to, the Farm Bureau, the DeKalb County Farm Bureau Foundation purchased the pens for us, and we can remove them so that we can have a dance or whatever, or a wedding or whatever in that building year-round. So
really?
We're really proud of it. It's just about done. It will be done for the fair, I guarantee it.
I'm intrigued because that farm zoo was always one of my very favorite parts of the zoo, but it was also one of the smallest.
It was very small,
larger?
and it was oh yeah, this is much larger. It was a reused building. I think, according to history, it was in 1967. They built a new sheep barn, and that was the original sheep barn, and they turned it into at that time they called it a petting zoo. We like to call it a farm zoo now.
Tell me, why is that so important? I know it's one of my favorites.
It's
safety?
Safety. Yeah, with the animals, you should be cleansing your hands and stuff after you go through the buildings.
Okay. Well, that wasn't why I was asking you the question. I was thinking of the romance of it and giving the kids actually a chance to get up close and
right
personal
there.
and touch a baby chick, a baby pig, actually be able to talk to a young person that they're young and talk to another young person who can tell them about the feeding and care of an animal. So the educational aspect is one of the real key things.
That is what we like is, of course, agricultural education, and we work at that every year. And we have Maggie the cow that we purchased a few years ago, which is a fiberglass cow. A kid can actually come up and milk a cow, and it feels like a real cow. I mean, it's pretty neat.
They can get that experience.
They can get that experience.
Now, you had mentioned your entertainers. You had mentioned the fact that you have some roving entertainers, some pop-up things that happen all over the grounds. But you have 3 big stages. I'm thinking of the smallest being the one behind the Home Arts Building.
Correct.
You also have Agland Stage.
Agland Stage.
And then you have your grandstand.
And then we have our main stage in the infield.
What do we expect for entertainment this year?
This year is Scotty McCreery. He was an Idol winner, I think, in 2007 or something like that, 2009, I'm not sure of the year. And also a special guest, Jimmy Allen, and he's a new up-and-coming. And if you look at our history over the years, we've had quite a few superstars that came through the Sandwich Fair. Luke Bryan.
Up-and-coming. You had
Blake
Loretta
Shelton,
Lynn.
Loretta Lynn.
Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels. We had Charlie Daniels when he was maybe not up-and-coming, but he was still fairly new. So yeah, over the years we've had them. We try to keep it economical. It's $25 for a ticket is. There's actually $35 for the pit area, and that's the most expensive ticket we have. So we try to keep it economical so everybody can see them, and it's a great time.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the truck and tractor pulls, and of course the famous demo derby on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves the demo derby.
Do you still have harness racing?
We still have harness racing on Wednesday, and we're going to try something new this year. On Wednesday, we're having an equipment. There's so much new equipment out there for these contractors, and we're going to have an expo of equipment like skid steers and little mini excavators and stuff like that. And they're going to put on a little show what they can demonstrate on Wednesday night. So people can come in and sit down and watch them for a few minutes or sit there the whole time. We're going to do it from 4 to 8.
Now, some of the events at the infield, at the main arena, cost extra money?
There's
like,
an additional charge for the truck and tractor pulls, the demo, the Friday night show, the
Okay.
stage show, and
but some of them are free.
but some of them are free.
Okay. Like the harness racing.
Harness
is always
racing is free. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when you get to the Agland stage, you
That's
also
all
have some really great entertainers there.
Oh, we
and-
do. We have great entertainers, and Gary Skinner's been helping us out for years there. He was an old band in the bands years ago, and he's been booking great bands for us in that area for years.
So that entertainment, those entertainers rather, that entertainment is all free at the Agland
That's all
stage.
free. Just walk up and sit down. There's usually a bench there to sit on, and
Home Arts
there's
stage.
the noon shows and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You have the noon shows. You
Orion
get
and
in.
Max will be there on different days, so that's always entertaining.
That they are longtime agricultural broadcasters.
Oh,
They
yes.
bring a lot of history, a lot of fun, quirky news, but they also bring a lot of the spirit of the fair with them, and
You bet.
kind of connect the fair to the greater world outside, because they talk about politics and
Correct.
world trends and things as well. So,
Correct.
And that's the noontime show.
That's a noontime. I think there's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I think.
Okay. Then the Home Arts stage has also had some up-and-comers
Yes, yes.
showing up at that stage in the past, and always has some good entertainment.
You bet. And then we have the culinary contest there. That's always fun to watch. People bring their certain day they have pork, and the next day they have beef, and they might have chocolate cake. And I don't know. I never get to judge. I'm still questioning that, but
I had the opportunity to judge the culinary competition once. It was the hardest thing I think I've ever done
that's
in my
what
life.
other people have told me. So I don't know why I keep trying to get in there. But I think chocolate cake day is up my alley, and they don't call me. So I
Well,
don't
that
know.
kind of brings you back to the spirit of the entries again, because it brings you back to who's going to make the best chocolate cake, who's going to
Right.
make the best, jellies or jams, and kind of brings it to the public, and you get to watch. And one of the nice things I always liked is if you're in the audience, you get to go up and have a tasting at the
Yes.
end. They
Yep.
let the audience come up and taste everything that's
Yep.
going on. So that's really a cool, little quirky and fun part of the fair as
Correct.
well.
We don't do a lot of the traditional, the pie eating contests and stuff like that.
That's okay.
So we need, yeah.
I don't wanna do that one.
And we've never done that, I guess, or if we did, it's not since I've been there, and I've been there a long time. So I like these little competitions that we have to keep people entertained.
What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of the fair,
Yeah.
people always ask me that, Tuesday before the fair starts. I love to see it come together.
Oh, that's sweet. It's very sweet, because I know you work every day,
Every day.
every single day of the year to get that fair ready, and I know you have probably the best people on the planet helping you,
Oh gosh,
dedicated volunteers.
they know what to do and they do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to make you cry.
That's okay.
But it is something that is very, very emotional and very romantic, and just a sweet memory that you never want to lose. If you've ever gone to the Sandwich Fair, you're going to want to go again.
We have people that come every year. I had a couple that came from Canada every year for 25 years. Their motorhome broke down on Route 80 one time, and they were looking for something to do, and they've been back every year. So
Isn't that something?
they always come up and say hi.
That's awesome. So I don't want to be remiss in forgetting the most important part. We still can become
Part of the fair.
exhibitors at the
Part of the
fair,
fair.
and that's one of the best deals. I know that you have ticket prices that are daily.
Mm-hmm.
You also have ticket prices for a season pass. But
Sure.
if you exhibit,
You get a pass.
you get a pass to the fair for
Sure.
the whole 5 days,
Yep.
and you get to have the opportunity to maybe earn
Make
some
some money.
premium money, get a blue ribbon, and that actually pays out.
Yes, it does.
So what's the deadline? If we want to get
Deadline
one of
is
these
August
books.
21st.
Okay.
You can pick up the books, or you can go online. You can always go online. You can enter online. So yeah, August 21st is the deadline. We cannot take
Okay.
any more entries after that. To process 30,000 or 25,000 entries does take some time. We used to wait until Labor Day to end it, and it was just too long. It was
There's
too
too
short
much.
a time. It was too much for us to do. So
Well, Larry, thank you for sharing all this information. And as we go out, we have to tell them it's sandwichfair.com. You
Sandwichfair.com.
don't want to miss it. We'll be right back right after this.
thank you.
Thank you.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. Cliff Olson joins us now. He is the president of Open Roads ABATE. And Cliff, I'm so glad to have you here. I think that you've got such an important message to share with all of us, and I can't wait to get started. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
ABATE, a brotherhood aimed towards education.
Yes.
Tell me what that means. What is the purpose? What is the mission of ABATE?
We lobby for safety for motorcycles. We actually have people, and our chapter does this, not all chapters do. We go into high schools during driver's ed and we talk to the kids and instructors about motorcycle safety and proper gear to wear once they decide to be on a motorcycle, and to watch out for the motorcycles that are on the road.
Okay.
Don't tailgate.
So you have a mission, from what I'm hearing, a mission that's very local, very personal. You meet people and you talk about ABATE, you talk about motorcycles, you talk about how they work and how they should be used.
Yes.
But you also go beyond that, you go to the state level, and
Yes.
you were talking about lobbying and advocating and advocating to our legislators. So tell me a little bit about that, and let's see if we can break down all these components of ABATE.
There is actually a legislative day every year where members of chapters go to Springfield and they talk to the senators and the reps about motorcycle safety and motorcycle rights. Along with that, there's one in Washington, D.C. We're also members of Motorcycle Riders Foundation, and they do the same thing on a national level.
Why do motorcyclists have to push for their rights?
Because we're being pushed off the road, in my opinion. Like the E15. It's illegal to put it in a motorcycle right now.
Okay, so the E15 is a new fuel.
Yes.
Tell me about E15. I know that's an issue that we talked about before the show that you think is very important. So
Yes,
explain it to me.
Well, right now it's illegal to put in a motorcycle. There has not been enough testing done on small engines, even your lawnmowers. There has not been enough testing done to see if this is dangerous for the inner parts of the motorcycle or
So
the small engine.
It could affect how the motor runs, or it could possibly be volatile.
Yes. It could make the inside parts deteriorate.
Can't you just choose when you go to the gas pump?
That's another thing we're advocating for, is put E15 in a separate pump.
Why?
Because whatever the person was using before I got
So
there,
I have a big truck and I put E15 in my truck.
I pull in, I'm putting 2 gallons or 3 gallons of gas in my motorcycle. I'm getting a good quart or more that's in the hose of whatever the person before me used. And I don't want that in my motorcycle.
I can imagine that it does take a lot of education, because your issues are unique and probably not on the radar of the legislators. They don't know, they don't understand it. They need somebody to come and break it down and explain that to them.
Yeah, just like the autonomous vehicles.
What's wrong with autonomous vehicles? That's all the rage. Everybody is excited
Yeah.
about that.
Oh yeah, the auto companies they think they're great, but they do not recognize pedestrians, bicyclists, or motorcycles, but 60% of the time.
So a bicycle or a motorcycle is too small?
Yes, just like a pedestrian.
So the autonomous vehicle is driving along and it has sensors.
Yes,
It's not going to sense you in front or
Right.
at the side.
they've even ran into fire trucks. There is a case in another state where the autonomous vehicle ran into a fire truck. Didn't see it.
So ABATE is trying to, how are
We
you?
want more testing.
Okay, more
We
testing.
want more, the
Because
automakers.
you know the future's going to happen.
I know, just like the E15.
So you want more testing,
Yes,
more safeguards.
Yes.
You want a better autonomous vehicle before they're on the road.
yes. But they are on the road in Illinois now.
And you, as a motorcycle rider, you don't know it's an autonomous vehicle until you come up upon it.
Right,
You have no idea.
right. We don't know if the vehicle behind us at a stop sign is actually going to stop if it sees us. That's very scary.
Are there other legislative initiatives that ABATE is part of? Things that they're
Yes,
concerned about?
we advocate for the off-road riders. There are tracks in the state. In fact, there's one down by Wedren. We advocate, there's money that those people pay, and we want that money broke loose for those tracks to upgrade for their safety issues,
Absolutely.
which are different than mine, but,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have children on those off-road vehicles.
oh yeah, yes. Little kids just learning to ride their dirt bike.
Right. So for you to be advocating for funds for that, that's going to help them have better facilities, better oversight, making sure that they have
Better safety equipment, yes. Yes.
Wow. You have a lot.
Yeah, we're not just, a lot of people say, well, ABATE, well, they're just those helmet people. We do a lot more than just helmets.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people, we're taught, and every day in the news, probably 100 times a day, we hear don't judge others, don't look at them and wonder about them because of the clothes they wear or whatever. But people do that when it comes to motorcyclists.
Yes, there are certain communities, even in northern Illinois, that I could get arrested for wearing this vest because it's part of their anti-gang language, no colors. This is considered, in the motorcycle world, this is considered a color.
So they
The
look
vest.
at you and they say, okay, this is somebody who's a tough
Bad guy.
who's
Bad
going to
guy.
come into my town and cause trouble.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I've never met a motorcyclist, actually, in my life. I've never met a member of ABATE who is nothing more than the most dear and concerned individual. I think, is that the organization itself that grows
Yes.
that?
Yes, yes. We're not the bad guys that are going around killing people or doing whatever. We're doing the safety and the good things for the community.
Tell me a little bit more about the educational aspect of ABATE. You said early on that you go into the schools and you actually meet. Do you go to driver's ed classes, or
Yes.
what do you do?
Yes, our particular representative that does that is Lynn Hoffman out of Sandwich. And she goes to area schools that allow her to come in and talks to the kids, shows us a short film, gives them a little test to see what they've learned from the film, just to promote safety.
So, what is the film? What is she trying to teach them?
If you're going to get on a motorcycle, you don't wear flip-flops and shorts. You're not cutting through people's yards. You got to pull up to a stop sign and stop.
So basically, the rules of the road apply to you. You are a street-worthy vehicle,
Yes.
and
Oh, yes.
you have to follow the rules of the road. And then, how silly? Why would you want to get on something going 30 miles an hour in flip-flops? Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. So you do need to protect yourself. Does she also teach how to drive a vehicle, a four-wheel vehicle with motorcycles around?
Basically, it's don't tailgate. And if you're looking in the mirror and the guy behind you on a motorcycle is maybe he's over here on this side for a little bit, and then he's over on this side of the lane, he's trying to see around you to see what's coming up. I do that a lot because I want to know if there's a crossroad coming or if traffic stopped in front of the vehicle that I'm following.
So she actually is teaching the kid behind the wheel of a regular car or truck to understand what the motorcyclist behind
Yes.
or in front is thinking and doing.
Yes.
I'd love to have that class.
Yeah. We might be able to arrange that. And a lot of times we weave on the road because there's a pothole. A pothole this big is going to take a motorcycle down. So we weave around it where it doesn't affect the car.
So just to respect and understand from their perspective what's going on in that motorcyclist's mind
Yes.
is one of the things that she's doing. And your group is actually going to all the different high schools in the local area?
I'm not sure all the high schools she goes
Okay.
to. Some don't want her
Really?
in their driver's ed classes.
That's too bad.
Yes, yes. But there are other chapters in the state, not everyone, that do the same thing.
How large is your area?
Kendall
Open
County, northern LaSalle,
Okay.
southern DeKalb. There are 6 regions in the state and 54 chapters.
I can't imagine why a high school would not want to have that extra information offered to their students.
And I don't have an answer for that one. I really don't.
Talking about your area, you actually have some urban, a little bit of urban, but mostly a lot of country roads. That's
Yes.
a great place to ride.
Yes, I try not to go east of 47 much more than I do get on the other side while I'm in Yorkville. And right now, on the safety thing, one of the things that I'm starting to worry about, the corn's getting tall enough, we can't see who's coming from the sides at the intersections. And they can't see me either.
Right, and you're very small. You're just
Yes.
you're a glimmer of light, which could be a glimmer of light from anything else, like
Yes.
stalks of corn in the wind, and
Yes.
you don't look much different.
Yes,
That's very frightening.
Yes.
Very frightening. You also told me that your membership is very concerned, and I wanted to ask you about what we could do on an individual level. And one of the things you're very concerned about is lawn clippings.
yes. Every city and the state has an ordinance or a law that you're not supposed to dump debris on the road. We've noticed this year a lot of these commercial mowers make that first pass along the road and they cover the first lane. They need to run that mower a couple of laps, blowing the grass the other way first because it is illegal. I know Plano has caught a couple of guys doing that, and Kendall County has too.
I've seen some roads in Kendall County that I thought of I thought of my friends on motorcycles right away when I saw it because I know that's a problem. But
it
what do
was-
you do? Slip, slide? Are you ice
Yes.
skating? What's going on?
Pretty much that. Last year, it was not in this state. A guy blew his wet grass out on the road. A motorcycle came along, didn't have time to correct to get into the other lane. He went down. That man was liable for all medical expenses and a motorcycle.
Oh,
Yeah,
So-
he went to court, but the man was liable.
so it's not just you're doing a good deed to be considerate of another human being,
Yes,
but it's really in your best interest to make sure that you protect your property and because
yes.
ABATE is here to protect the motorcyclists, and it's a good thing you
Well,
are.
it's actually a state law not to put debris on the roads. So,
So for people who are watching this, who might be cyclists who are not connected, how do we get connected with your organization? Do you actually have meetings? What?
yes, our next meeting is our annual picnic meeting,
Oh, picnic! I better write this down. When's your picnic?
August, the last Saturday, August 31st, at 2
Okay.
p.m. out in Lake Holiday. One of our members lives out there, and they got a big backyard. And that's a dish to pass when you come. The next regular meeting at the Legion in Plano is at 6 o'clock on October 26th.
Okay.
We meet every other month at the Legion, and we welcome anyone that's interested.
Okay, and I have about less than a minute left. I know you have one final message you want to leave with everybody.
Yes, I ride year-round. I have 2 motorcycles, a 2-wheeler and a 3-wheeler. So depending on road conditions, if it's 35 degrees, watch out. I could be out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a good message to end with. Take care of each other and have a good day, and we'll see you next time on Fox Valley in Focus.